The NBA is horrified with what's going on in San Antonio right now. After a 41-point annihilation, domination, front to back beatdown of the Philadelphia 76ers in Summer League, the Spurs are showcasing why their young talent will make noise in the NBA and what they can do on a basketball court. And we are going to touch and break down all of that here on Spurs Digest with your host, Keenan Warner. And if you guys haven't yet, make sure you guys take a spur of the moment to get every Spurs moment by hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss all the great content we have coming for you. Of course, it's Spurs Nation. It's Spurs Nation right now. And I understand it's not the regular season. It's not anything close to the regular season yet. But we are seeing glimpses of what is to come from some of these young guys. And we are going to break it down right now. A 111-70 annihilation of the Philadelphia 76ers. And yes, they didn't have VJ Edgecombe. I understand he had, I believe, 28-10 in his first game. He showcased what he's going to do because he is a high-level prospect. We don't even have our high-level prospect yet in Dylan Harper. That is going to be Cooper Flagg versus Dylan Harper in the next game. I can't wait for that on Saturday. But let's get underway with this. This is some of the first half stats because the first half is really where we put belt to butt, where we just said, hey, get over here. Yep, we're going to be just continuing. First quarter, beat down. Second quarter, beat down. And they continued it throughout the game. Biggest lead, 30 points in the first half. I mean, what could you do? David Jones-Garcia, 22 points. There was at one point, it was 50-22. He had 17, and obviously Philadelphia with that had only 22. He was 6-8 from the floor. Philadelphia was 7 of 27. He had almost as many field goals. This was late in the second quarter. So late in the second quarter, he had almost as many field goals as the entire Philadelphia 76er unit. Offensively, Garcia was the star of the show. He was able to put on a clinic. He only ended with 24 because he just said, I'm going to chill in the second half. But the entire team shot extremely well. I believe 18 threes they made throughout the game, if not close to. Carter Bryant, we are going to get to this man here in a moment because he's the guy I'm actually most excited about via all this. But first half, it was 11-19 from the three-point line, 62% from the floor. The free throws could have been a little bit better, but they were getting out in transition, getting in passing lanes, blocking shots, and the turnovers, they were still playing even a little frenetic, but still just showcasing how great they were. That defense in the first quarter was elite level defense. And then in the second half, what they did, 23-20, we're going to beat them in the third quarter. And then again, belt to just again, fourth quarter, 41 points. They just didn't know what it was like to even be down in this game. Their biggest lead was 43 points. The bench was going off. The starters were playing well. Everybody played well in this game for the San Antonio Spurs. As you see here, you have 4 people who are in double figures. You have multiple other people who are hovering around that 8, that 9 spot. You had, what is that, 10, 11, 12 people that scored in this game? I mean, start again. David Jones-Garcia. He started it off. He was the guy, and he didn't want to go for Anthony Morrow's 47. He decided to just chill, and I'm going to let my guys do what they're doing. So Riley Minix came in here. He was shooting threes all game. Dexter Dennis, that pull-up shot, though his pull-up threes were just cooking all game long. He was even getting, didn't matter later on if there's a defender in his face or not in his face. Carter Bryant, the shot has not been falling for him throughout all of Summer League, but the defense has been phenomenal. Yeah, they ended with 19, not 18 threes, but 19-37 from the three-point line, 51.4%. You're going to take that 10 times out of 10. And you thought in the second half maybe Philadelphia would be able to pull it close. They said, no, we're not worried about that. We're not doing all of that. We're going to touch on David Jones-Garcia, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 4 steals, 4 3-point shots made in this game. And he's just a guy who is really making a case to be on this roster, or if not this roster, a roster in the NBA. I don't see how you're going to get out of Summer League into the regular season without him at least having a 10-day contract to be on a roster to make his way into the NBA, because he deserves all of that with how he has been playing. I mean, last year you have to see this was 24 points, 7.5 rebounds, 3.2 assists. This is in the G League. Last year, Summer League, he was averaging over 20 points a game, and this year he's going to be in the same thing. He looks like he's going to average another 20. He is just showcasing that he is a solid basketball player that deserves a true job in the NBA, because he deserves it. If he's not going to be playing heavy minutes for your team and heavy in bench role 12, 14, 16 minutes a game, he can be there in practice and put wear and tear and put actual work into these guys and make them get better, make them actually progress as players, because he is going to go up there and he is going to compete. Today on the floor, he just looked like he was playing at a different pace. It looked like if you put a varsity guy with a bunch of JV guys out there on the floor, and even like he looked even much more poised and content than our players. He was making them better. So, and not that it was a fact of like our Spurs players didn't play well, because down the line they did. We all saw what happened. A 41-point beatdown. It's not just Garcia, but the poise in which he was playing was, it really was like, hey, we're just going to have this varsity guy run practice with us today, and he just orchestrated the whole thing. So Garcia is going to find his way onto a roster, but a guy who's already on the roster, a guy who is going to be on this roster hopefully for a long time, this guy named Carter Bryant is something special. This quote, I was watching the game and I saw this quote from Arizona head coach Tommy Lloyd, and I was like, this fits perfectly. The one thing about Carter is he checks the boxes that are really hard to check. He's an elite talent and he has elite character. The way he was speaking on the floor, talking defensively, was talking as if he was Draymond Green, one of the greater defenders of this generation, honestly, of all time. He was communicating. You don't see that much for a 19-year-old, the way he was participating on the defensive side of the ball with his vocally rather than just with his elite athleticism. We go to some of the quotes before game. He was talking about his willingness to defend and why he has been able to shine on the defensive side of the basketball throughout these first few games. And he said, my willingness to defend anybody, he said, it doesn't matter if they're 7 foot 280 or if they're 6 foot 120, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do whatever I can to win the basketball game. And that is the character that Brian Wright saw in this guy. And speaking of Brian Wright, obviously Mitch Johnson and everybody else in the Spurs organization. But speaking of Brian Wright, he talked about Carter Bryant at halftime. He said he has a very mature approach where he doesn't force things offensively. He takes what the defense gives him, and defensively he is a menace. He went on to say about how just mature and how, like, what good of a prospect he was, because people typically go into summer league and they're like, oh, let me go get my shots up, let me go get my points, and Carter Bryant hasn't done that. Carter Bryant has taken 7 to 9, 10 shots a game, but they've all been within the flow of the offense. He only made one shot today, and it was that banker off the glass, the one that shouldn't have gone in, but he made that anyway. But defensively, my lord, oh my lord, this guy defensively has potential to be elite. Elite. The rangy motion. He wants to play defense. That is the thing. You see a guy like Andrew Wiggins, and that's the thing that made him a champion now, is he was willing to really buy into the defensive side of the basketball on those Warriors teams and be the primary stopper when they were playing Luka, be the primary stopper when they were playing Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the finals. You saw him get to that point. And Carter Bryant has those kind of tools, and Carter Bryant wants to play defense. There were so many plays where he was blowing up not just blocks at the basket, which are what you're going to see on highlights. He had 3 blocks, 4 which, though, the fourth one the first one was technically on a foul, so they didn't count it, but it was a clean block, obviously, but it's not going to count in the stat sheet. But it's how he gets over screens. It's how he fights back, his recovery time, his twitchy athleticism around screens. Though he has smaller guards on him, he has such great recovery time. So you're going to be able to put him on, he can guard 1 through 4 legitimately because he has the size to guard a 4, unless it's obviously your true 5s are going to be your Jokic's and he's not going to be able to guard them. But your 4s, he has easily got the size to guard a 4, but he's got the athleticism and the quickness to guard a 1. His lower center of gravity is something that you're going to want. As time goes on, it's going to get even better and better, and his lateral quickness with it in the box and a phone booth is going to get a little bit better, but at the same time, he's already very good with it. And can you imagine him with Stephon Castle, with Victor Wembanyama, with Jeremy Sochan, and then you put Dylan Harper at the point or De'Aaron Fox at the point? Oh my. I have to remind myself it's just Summer League because my goodness, are you kidding me? Watching that guy play defense, that's what Brian Wright said he focused on in the offseason. He said that we were focusing on defense and being able to play high-level defense when Wemby goes to the bench. And that's why you get Luke Cornett as a big, because he can rim protect and he can defensive rebound. That's why you draft Carter Bryant when he's at 14, even though you said you would even have moved up to go get him. You debated on it because you get a guy who is a three-point shooter, but you also get a defensive demon. Obviously, Dylan Harper is the second-best player of the draft. You take Dylan Harper every time in that position. But that's why you go make those moves. You get Kelly Olynyk. I understand that's a stretch 4, but he is a smart guy. He knows how to play defense within a scheme. So watching what the Spurs did today, specifically Carter Bryant, but David Jones-Garcia. Garcia has played his way onto a roster. I know it. You just watch it and you know it. Like Yabusele during the Olympics. You watch that and you're like, I know he's on a roster. He's got to be. Jones-Garcia is going to walk out of this like that. That might be the best player in Summer League. And I understand he's not the best player overall. Cooper Flagg's the best player going to be in the Summer League. And then Dylan Harper and things. But you were going to walk like, yeah, that's the MVP of the Summer League. That's the guy. Like, he deserves to be that. So let me know what you guys think about David Jones-Garcia. Would you like to have him on the roster, possibly in that 13th position? I know there's been the depth chart going on around, and we've had 12 to 13. It might be between him, Riley Minix, and a couple others. Let me know what you think about that, and let me know what you think about Carter Bryant. Do you think he has the potential to be a truly special defensive player like I do think he can be a special defensive player? But this has been Spurs Digest with your host, Keenan Warner. I appreciate all of you guys, and I hope to see all of you guys very soon.